Thank you guys for your patience. We had a couple of glitches with the Wi-Fi in our space that we are in today, but I want to welcome you to a very, very special moment of harmony today. Today is Saturday, March 26, 2022, and this is being recorded, and I am coming to you live. I am in Deep Creek, Maryland. My family is out here getting our Zen on, getting our healing on, getting our intentional good space. It is going to be a short video because the house is full of people. So we don't want, everyone a full moment. So I just want to definitely say, can everyone see clearly? Okay. I want to say this is going to be a short moment. It is a very special moment. It is March the 26th. It will be the transition anniversary date of my baby brother, Victorious Khan Aziz Swift. 5 years ago on this day, he was gunned down and murdered in a robbery at 19 years old. And it was a devastating event for our family. It was a devastating occurrence for us to have to endure, for us to live with, for us to deal with all the time. And as you can hear all the background noise because we are all out here. So again, we're gonna get this done quickly. But once a year, we have made it our business. We have made up our mind. We have committed to coming together as a family. We get out of the city, we get far away from work, all of these things, and we come into Deep Creek. We come into a place of serenity, tranquility, and we are intentional about being in a beautiful space as we digest something like grief, murder, pain, and we do this every single year. So of course this Saturday show is going to be absolutely dedicated to that, dedicated to Victorious, dedicated to families all over the world that are dealing with grief, that are grieving loved ones, that need to find, are desperate for more conducive and holistic ways of dealing with that type of pain. So this is going to be a quick moment. It is going to be a slight, what is it called? Detour. That's the word I'm looking for. A slight detour from our affirmations that we do every week, but that's okay. Keep doing your affirmations. But we are going to be here today to talk on this quick subject of grief and what we're feeling. So my big sister, who is the oldest of all seven of us, Heavenly, she told me on Victoria's birthday, February the 17th, not that long ago. It was a really rough day for me, and she told me about each of her siblings. She's the oldest of all seven of us, and she told us about all the things that she has learned from us and how they have sustained her, how they have grown her as a woman, as a being. And my goodness, we could go on and on about the things we've learned from her. Of course, she's mother number 2. So, but one of the things she said about Victorious was that Victorious taught her that you only die once, but you live 1,000 times. You live over and over. You live hundreds of thousands of days, right? But you only die once. And she was saying how how his transition has renewed in her sense of purpose, her sense of fulfillment, her drive to go after what it is that she needs, and to really appreciate life, find patience, find forgiveness. And her sending that message to me is the motivating factor for me behind this show today. It is the You Only Die Once Moment of Harmony. I was not able to leave a description. Sometimes it changes from time to time when you get on, but that's what the description would be. You only die once, a victorious moment. Okay, we're having a victorious moment of harmony today. So now to get into the content of this moment. The first part of the content of this moment is the intention behind my family coming all the way 3 hours away every year. I was a part of an organization where we would travel to retreat in Deep Creek once a year to gather ourselves, to recenter ourselves, to bond. And it became one of my most favorite places in the world. And, my king and I, we traveled to so many places, and I have loved Miami. I have loved New York. I loved all these places that we go. Nothing gets to me like Deep Creek. Being in the mountains matches my country music soul. The serenity, the air is different, the isolation, the time to be centered, the literal environment for self-care is everywhere here. And so when my brother was murdered, I was like, I know what I need to do to deal with this, to be able to not be in a sulking place, to not be in a depressing place. I know what I need to do every year. I need to go out to where I find serenity the easiest. And it was here. And then I was like, you know what? I saw my whole family suffer every year. Every year my family my brothers, everyone is just going through the worst types of situations to deal with our baby brother being brutally murdered. You know, he was shot 5 times. We had to deal with that. He did not die right away. He had 30 minutes before he was gone. So we had to deal with that. Just so many things in an ambulance, in the hospital by himself. No one even knowing that he was shot until after he was already gone, fighting for his life. There were so many things that will play on your mind as a sibling, as a family member. And I was saying we need to bring balance to this chaos in our minds. And the only place I know that brings instant serenity the moment you get there that I've experienced is Deep Creek. To say that grief, death is, we always hear all the time how certain death is when it pertains to life. And when we lose loved ones, grandparents, parents, aunts, spouses, children, when family members and loved ones are deceased, it breaks us. It takes away from us. They take a part of us with them. And so I got to the point of how can we have a more culturally, we dealt with these things differently. There were celebrations. We understood that they now existed in another realm. We weren't mourning them being gone forever because we could still communicate with them. We can work with them. And I'm saying, how do we incorporate those ways into where we are now? How do we get into intentional spaces to say, this is going to be a time of celebration? Later on today, the family is going to have affirmations. We're going to have family-focused games and activities. We're going to be, doing, and then ending up with those things that we like to do together, like karaoke and games, but just really emphasizing that how whole we are. And this is why I wanted a quick moment. Anybody doesn't know, that's my godson, Anani. Anani, you gotta go upstairs to mommy. Go upstairs to mommy. And I was considering not doing a moment today because there's like 20 people in this house. And you know how it is when there's just my children in the house. So I was like, this might not be smart. But I did not want to lose this opportunity on something that I know that we are all dealing with. Many of us are trying to work through. But what I'm saying is that if we know that death is inevitable, getting to a place where we're intentional about how we deal with grief, how we process the other realm, how we continue to relate to our loved ones in other realms of existence, will be a determining factor for how we heal, how we grow, how we get from year to year. And because it's absolutely an experience that's always going to happen. There's not going to be a year that goes by where some famous person that we know, someone that we're associated with, or even someone close doesn't transition. And what I want to do for us as we talk about healing is really go into what is the healthy way to grieve. I don't even want to use the word grieve. I want to say transform. I want to say to connect or reconnect. I'm going to find a terminology that works better for where it is that I want to go as it pertains to us grieving our loved ones, those being in remembrance of lost loved ones. Whether it is something, like cancer, it is something, a car accident, or if it's something even more brutal, murders. And I have a very close friend and the woman that I work for whose mother was brutally murdered, and she speaks about that often. And I really feel like when these things happen to us, there's a way, right? culturally, there's a way for everything. There's a way for children to come into the world. There's no water break, baby born. There's a spiritual way to prepare for the birth of a child. There's a spiritual, because we're spirits, right? Having a human experience. So there's a spiritual way to deal with the reconnection process as it pertains to death. So my thing is that we have to be able to go ahead and reshift that whole thing. And of course, we're not going to be able to do it in this one moment, but I do want to encourage us to follow us all the way through. Keep sticking in there with a moment of harmony, because we're going to get into these very deep details on how to be intentional, how to know how we feel, connect with what's going on with us. What is it that we're actually, a lot of us when we're grieving, we're actually connected to guilt or shame or helplessness, hopelessness, regret. You know, there's so much connected to grief that I don't think is always explored. And it's really just, I'm sad. I miss this person. I want this person. And a lot of times there's a lot of other things connected to it that we can focus on, that we can work on, that makes the grieving process a different process. One of the main things is remembrance. When we come here for this weekend, every year, it is a remembrance weekend. It's not a sad weekend. It's not a weekend of recalling or horrible experiences, unless there's something you need to get off your chest in your healing process. It is an intentionally healing weekend. It is about we came here for one thing, and that is to deal with what we are facing head on, bravely, courageously, and responsibly. We're not going to hide out. We're not going to go to work. We're not going to drink all day. We're not going to Netflix and chill. It's not that type of day. It is a time. It's not that type of time period for us as a family. It is our time to pull into our great selves, illuminate our higher selves, so that it is what prevails in times like this. And we do it the best way that we can. Excuse me. And we also are responsible for one another and make sure that we all can relate to what's happening with one another. Not having, people just be like, oh yeah, that's what that day is. And what that does to us and how that makes us feel. But being around like-minded individuals that are experiencing what you're experiencing and being intentional about the healing. We will never ever just let this day come and go. We will never ever be able to just light a candle or release a balloon. It won't do it for us. We have to be realistic about what is actually going to make this a special day for me. What is going to make this a healing day for me? What is going to transform the energy around this experience for me? And then we have to do that. It may not always be that we can afford to go somewhere or be somewhere. But we do have to be courageous and intentional and get ahead of it in a way that we say, I want to be able to focus on what is the most important part of this experience. Why did this loved one transition? What was the message that was intended to get from me? What am I supposed to learn? Just like my big sister Heavenly said, the lesson that it taught her, the hold that it gave her own life, the forgiveness and the patience that she was rewarded in this experience. Being able to look at the grander, bigger picture, knowing that all things are connected. So I want us to understand death is inevitable. It's unavoidable. But grieving in a detrimental way is, right? We cannot avoid death, that happening to people around us or ourselves, but we can avoid destruction of self. That's always avoidable, no matter what has happened to us, no matter what comes our way. How we go about it, how we move about it, how we treat it, always can determine whether something breaks us or makes us, challenges us or changes us, or challenge and changes us in a positive way, but not a negative change. So my thing is, I really want everyone to be in a place that is tuned into a moment of harmony, that is absolutely missing that grandparent, that sibling, that parent, that loved one, and just saying, what is it that I can do when it comes that person's birthday, that person's transition's anniversary? What is it that I can do in remembrance, in celebration? What is it that I can take intentional time out to care for myself at this moment? I'm not going to treat this like a regular. That was one of the biggest lessons I learned when my brother transitioned, was that I moved out of my house. I quit my job. I did anything that my life was before he transitioned. I knew that the only way that I was going to survive his transition was that I was going to have a new normal completely. It couldn't just be that Vicky left my life physically and my life went on. That was not happening. Life was not going on without him. That was not going to happen. Not life as I knew it. In order for me to cope and revamp and rebirth in that moment, which was not necessary and vital, and it was a great point of it all, I had to disconnect from the old life that had him in it and recreate the new life where he was in it spiritually but not physically. And I'm saying that this moment of harmony is about an intentional space that we take when it comes to, like what my sister said, you only die once. That was one of the Creator gives me things to help me to heal all the time from this experience. But Heavenly put a piece in place for me when she sent me that message that, all of you taught me such, such, and such. But Victoria's taught me that you only die once. I want us to be motivated in that. I want us to be encouraged in that. Yes, not to be reckless in life. Definitely to live carefully, live intentionally, live to your fullest capacity. But to understand that you will only have one death, but you have the gift of life every single day. If you are right now watching me and hearing me, you have been granted the gift of life thus far in this day, and you don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know what the next hour brings. You don't know what tonight brings, but you only die once, and you live 1,000 lives if you are so blessed to. So go after it with your fullest capacity. Go after life with everything in it that you have, and say, like, you know what? I may have failed at this attempt. This marriage didn't work out. This didn't go the way that I wanted to go. These people that I thought would be my family forever. This situation that I thought would never change. This person that I thought I would always be connected to. All of this stuff, right? We can look at all of this stuff and just be like, this is over. It's different. It's not the way I want it. But to realize that you are still here, like we just had in our last moment. So it is not over for you, because you only die one time. You may have to start that you may have to restart that business 100 times. You may have to remarry your spouse 100,000 times in your marriage. You may have to forgive yourself so many times, recommit to your children and the sacrifices of parenthood. You may have to go back to school 3 or 4 times. Whatever it is you have to do, understand that you're doing it because you're alive, because you have a chance to, because you were granted permission, and the Creator is trusting you with your life, because the Creator is giving it to you. Trusting you with life, meaning that there is more for you to do, more for you to know, more for you to experience, and more for you to gain in the greatness of the physical realm. And that when you do make it to the spiritual realm, it is because you have done what was needed here. And because you're still here, more needs to be done. You only die one time. That divorce won't kill you. That dropping out of that school won't kill you. That pregnancy unexpectedly, it won't kill you. That sentence, that sentence for jail, it won't kill you. Whatever it is, you only will die one time. But if you wake up in it, you have a chance to win in it. If you wake up in it, you have a chance to win in it. Even if you lost at it yesterday, you have a chance to win in it today. You have a chance to revitalize yourself in it today. You have a new chance to say, like, look, this life so far wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I had some turns and some twists. It wasn't what I planned, but it is still life. It is still life, right? My brother is in an urn around my neck. Some people's brothers and sisters are in the ground, in a mausoleum, in a vase. I'm saying, where they were meant to go, they have gone. They died that one time. And then but they live again in the ancestral realm. They're still here present with us. You live in the flesh. You live in your skin. You live within yourself. You have the incredible opportunity to be here. Go after it. Go after it. Take that trip with your family to heal. Call that person and give them forgiveness. You miss that person, you love that, profess that love to that person that you need to profess that love to. Because it is not over, because you only die one time. That means that from this moment forward, I never want to hear again about something that took you out, that stopped you, that stalled you, and that broke you, that kept you from moving forward, because you only die one time. So if you're not in a box, and you're not in an urn, and you're not in a mausoleum, I don't want to hear about how you could not move forward. I don't want to hear about how you could not make life the best that it was, how you couldn't take the gift of the next day and turn it into a greater day. How you couldn't take the next days and turn them into your greatest days. Because, like my big sister said, you only die one time. If you're still here, you're still in it. If you're still breathing, you're still here to accomplish your purpose and your mission. The greatest still has a mission for you. Thank you all so much for giving me this moment. My brother Victorious, his spirit transcends all that he was able to accomplish in his 19 years, which was much more than I think a lot of people hold on to life and take advantage of life and express life to its fullest. But he did that. And I feel him even to this day. When I needed him this week 100,000 times, when I needed him last week 100,000 times, he speaks to me, he comes through, because he is still giving the best of himself in a spiritual realm. He's making it happen. So I'm saying that in the physical, make it happen. Make it happen. You are not in the restraints of the ground, of the coffin, of the urn. So I need to see motion. I need to see movement. I need to see breathing. I need to see life. I need to see you create, because that's what life is about. Perpetuate, because that's what life is about. Restore, redo. You have the opportunity. Take the moment. This moment definitely has been brought to you from a place of serenity and deep thought. And I am so grateful to be in an opportunity and in a space where the Creator has allowed me to say, like, look, wake up. Go talk to the people about what this day really means to you. Let people know that you have the power, because you're breathing, because you have another day, that you have the power, you have the audacity, you have the courage. It is in you, because breath is in you. When breath is in you, life is in you. And when life is in you, life should be around you. Life should be incredible for you. Challenges, absolutely. 100% a lot of the time. Yes. Trials, absolutely. The conditioning to make you greater. The dark to make your light brighter. Right? Those things are not going anywhere. The restraints to make you stronger. Those things are going to happen. But if you were breathing, that means you didn't die. That means you have had so many opportunities and will be blessed with so many more until that time comes. Take every day for what you need it to be. We are, as Moment members and Moment members supporters, a Moment of Harmony supporters, we are going to be going so much further into these intricate details of grieving and how we can get to places where we can understand what's happening, physical, spiritual, bring those together, operate together in that way. We are going to make sure that we get through all of that together. But I did want to invite you into this space with my family today. Thank you for being patient for all the noise. The house is full of people, but it is also full of love, joy, and rejuvenation. And we are taking our moment. We're taking our moment this weekend. We're taking our moment to say we remember you. We love you. We celebrate you. This is our time to talk about you with other people who want to talk about you. To remember you with other people who remember you every day, to heal from the lack of your physical presence with other people who need that type of healing. Take your moment Remember what my big sister, this is really a heavenly moment. Remember what my big sister said, you die only once. You live hundreds of thousands of times. Take advantage of every single day. Love yourself through every moment. Heal yourself in every moment. Be intentional with your loved ones and continue to have your moments. Thank you for joining me for this moment all the way in McHenry, Maryland. I will be back with you next weekend as we have another moment together. Love and light to you all. Please continue to get those moment member inquiries into me. We are still having open membership for our members. We are meeting in person once a month. We are bonding, we are building, we are healing, we are growing. Get those inquiries in. You are more than welcome. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is currency for me. It keeps energy and momentum that I need for the energy and momentum for us to heal one moment at a time. I love you so very much. Love and light, great peace. And you live that life every single day that you have it. Live it.